Korona Verde. The Korona Verde are large, enveloped, and intracellular membraned helicocapsuled viruses. They have a linear, single-strand, positive sense RNA genome. So again, as a positive sense RNA, they can function as, or their genome can function as a messenger RNA. Transmission of these viruses is fecal-oral, but also sometimes by respiratory droplet, especially for upper respiratory type illnesses. There are medically important or relevant species which we talk about. One is the severe acute respiratory syndrome virus, otherwise known as SARS by its initials, SARS virus. And then the coronaviruses themselves, which are a frequent cause of respiratory and some gastrointestinal disorders.
Unfortunately, we now need to add a third relevant virus, the 2019 novel coronavirus, which has been causing severe disease outbreak stemming from Wuhan City, China.
The transmission electron micrograph in front of you is showing typical appearance of, in this case, a animal strain of coronavirus. And you can see that they have a almost pedicle arrangement around the outside of the membrane itself. So the first and most common medical illness associated with the coronaviruses is the common cold. Incubation period, 3 days, so very short. It is very common. In fact, it is probably as common as an enterovirus or a rhinovirus. Prognosis, fabulous, unless one has a man cold, haha. But it is a very common and very rapid resolving upper respiratory tract illness. Patients have the typical sneezing, rhinovirus, headache, sore throat, malaise. Sometimes the fevers are high enough to also have shaking chills or rigors along with them. But it's mostly pediatric-aged patients, infants and children who are exposed to this. And again, it's probably because the infectious particles are very readily available through respiratory droplet, which deposits on horizontal surfaces. Children explore the world through their hands and their mouths. So respiratory droplet or fecal-oral transmission, and you can see why the coronavirus is such a common cause of the common cold. Gastrointestinal tract infections are far less common, especially due to coronaviruses, but when occurring, they also have a very fast incubation period, up to 3 days. Prognosis, superb for these as well. It's a very mild version of what are sometimes some very severe gastrointestinal infections caused by other viruses. In this case, diarrhea, gastroenteritis causing inflammation of the gut with a mild or nonspecific abdominal pain, rarely some vomiting. Korona Verde. The Korona Verde are large, enveloped, and intracellular membraned helicocapsuled viruses. They have a linear, single-strand, positive sense RNA genome. So again, as a positive sense RNA, they can function as, or their genome can function as a messenger RNA.
Onalen Namarumura Ninfeno TV.
Nombulelo Konko, Northwest News Online.
Opake Mongale from Hospitals and Clinical Support Services, Northwest Department of Health.
Utiletla pe Northwest Jena.
Dumela magaetsho ke Matshidiso Mahoko ke tswa go Department of Health.
Dumelang bagaetsho ke Mosotho Makhoba, Communications Officer Mafikeng Provincial Hospital.
Dumelang, Itewarentlagale, Department of Health.
Dumelang bagaetsho, Media and Communication ke Rile Motlwana.
Dumelang, lentswe ke la ga ke a leboga Pule ke Communication Officer Madibeng.
Dumelang bagaetsho ke William Sehere from Ratlo FM.
Kwitsione Shopping, Department of Health.
Lobelo, Modise Lobelo, Morongwa, Dr. RSM.
Gloria Kok, Media and Communication, Head Office.
MJ Kumalo, Communication, Kagisano Molopo Subdistrict.
All protocol observed, Offense Letlape, Northwest Insider and Kwele newspapers.
Dumela magaetsho ke Kitso Molawa from Department of Health Infrastructure.
Evening, MEC and colleagues. Ke Motlalipula Legoma, Media Liaison Officer, Office of the MEC.
Days Khiba wa Platinum Northwest TV.
Dumela magaetsho ke Nikomasiu PRO ya Klerksdorp Tshepong Hospital.
Mohado Khiba, Klerksdorp Rekoto.
Tabiso Mokala ke General Manager, Platinum Northwest TV.
Kineilwe Mary, Star FM.
Ulifile Vilagazi, Mabato FM.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for the introductions. Me Mutalipula Lekoma, can you stand up, please? Me Mutalipula Lekoma, she is now the media liaison officer in the office of the MEC. I think you would know that we did not have a media liaison in the office of the MEC before. She has created that post. If I'm not available and there are issues that the media wants to ask about the department, you can get hold of her. Or if there are legislature issues also, you can get hold of her. During the interactions, interact with her to the limited extent possible. Thank you very much. The presentation and launch of health app, are we ready with that so that I can hand over to you? Thank you very much. And as he's coming to the front, let me explain that we were expecting the administrator to give us a status report on the section 100B intervention, the administrator will not be with us. She has an emergency she's attended to in Pretoria. But the MEC is here. You'll be able to respond to all the issues, including those of the administration. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Lekatwane. Dumelang bagolo. My name is Ananias Ndlovu. Normally, I'm on that side. And people are this side, and I ask questions. So today, Kitlile this side. And many colleagues, maybe you are wondering why I'm this side, not this side with you. But it's very simple. I'm happy we are here, and I'm very delighted we are having this opportunity. Let me just give a brief background. We approached the Northwest Department of Health, and we said, MEC, Gauteng ikasere phale. Everything in Gauteng is going digital. And we said, now, we are going that route. And we said, we have a plan. And the plan is to have a TV, an app TV for the Department of Health, who improve our communication. And the app is very simple. You download it on Google Play. Then you have it on your phone. You can watch it wherever you are. And Munatwa thing happened the app. We are saying we are going digital. We are using the smart TVs komalapeng. If you are at home, you can watch Netflix. You can watch other YouTube on your TV. Then you know your TV is smart. And that will also allow you to watch the app TV. It's very simple. I'll give you just look at that TV. I'm there. We are live on the app TV. Here, Google Play, check Northwest Department of Health. Then you'll see the app. You download it. You can share the link at home. They'll watch this event live. So this thing is live. You go to YouTube, it's live. So we are saying this TV is just a smart TV. It's connected to Wi-Fi. You take this TV as it is. We are go clinic, connect Wi-Fi, and we stop watching DSTV. We stop watching DSTV on our health centers. Someone Robert Hospital now watching, what time is it now? Generations. And we are having a coronavirus crisis. With this app TV, we are saying you can watch the corona update, corona, anything you need to know, Kasi Tswana, Kasi Sotho, Kasi Xhosa, ka Afrikaans, mo provincing ya Bokone Bophirima. So the idea, when you are hospitalized and you are from there, you go home, you must educate people. You must tell people, Lord, as if Ochoko University of Health, telling them, guys, do you know 6 months is enough for Alafa TB? I learned that hospital. While I was lying on my bed, I was watching that app TV. They were educating me about other diseases. So not to say how you and you go there and you discuss kumkani, or you go home and you discuss the Queen. No. Shaka we editing. While we were in the hospital. So the main thing is to communicate with our people. We came across so many challenges when we were doing this surveys and research about this TV. And now personally, I find it as an insult to people who are in Northwest China internet. We are getting that a lot. Or it's like a data. No, Northwest China data. That's an insult to the Northwest province. Because now the school, your phone, if it can download WhatsApp, it's a smartphone. And tell me a village most now WhatsApp in the Northwest. And if you can have a phone with a WhatsApp, go Tatlakanyani, then it means you can watch the TV on that phone. So let's talk about the 4G, the 5G. Yes, yeah, Bafara. Yes, that we can have that conversation, but don't say hakuna internet. I know my colleagues in the digital space will agree with me. Or when you say this thing is on social media, they will tell you, "Ay, kidulo tabana, Facebook, kidulo tabana," and I don't do that. But you check Facebook pages now, thousands and thousands of people are online now. I don't want to mention millions. I just want to say thousands and thousands are on Facebook as we speak now. People are watching this, it's on Facebook. People are watching this, it's on YouTube. So colleagues, we are saying to the Department of Health, let's digitize things. We are talking about the 4th industrial revolution. And this is a start. We must have these smartphones in our clinics. These smart TVs, sorry. We must have these smart TVs in our clinics, health centers, and hospitals. Even if that is not enough, we are saying, let's have that app TV on our phones. You connect this thing, Wi-Fi. Nowadays, how many kids are still doing family planning clinicking? They don't go. But when you say to them, "Irnale free Wi-Fi," I'm telling you, they'll come. So this thing, it says to you, let's bring people to our health facilities. If the Wi-Fi is there, then they are there watching the screen, Babwaka sexual transmitted diseases. Then bato molela hore, oh, okay, drop or gonorrhea can last momotong for 7 days. I'm not a doctor, you'll correct me. But the TV educating him or her, I am a line, you know how to hospital, but I am a line, 90 people in front. But a screen, as a borech, language, it will help a lot. So we are saying, guys, let's support the initiative. We'll go around and record because we don't profile. I don't know how many years more filtering, but I can hardly. I'm from Madibeng, but I'm happy the communicator from Madibeng is here. I don't know him. I don't know her. That's because the communication is just hanya. So, but we are saying, Hore, with the health TV, what you'll watch there, we'll go to Madibeng and talk to the communicator and help us profile Pratt's Hospital. There are so many nurses. By long Hore, they are good on what they do. They don't get exposure. When I do, can see that site, Hangwana go Gatea Clinic is my headline, breaking news. But those health workers, those young girls and boys around, around teaching people about health issues, around, we don't profile them. We don't even know how they operate. We don't. When they say Harakra stipend, we are on strike. Then that's where we'll say, oh, okay, oh, they exist. Can telecall Dr. KK. So, but the TV will make the communication very, very easy. It will profile your clinics because it plays 24 hours. So ga e dlala 24 hours, it needs content. And when it needs content, it says to us, where are the people, Bako Dr. KK, who can record, people who can do editing and help us put information more than TV. Who bakai batu bako taung, baba itseng go recorder, baba naling equipment, who can record and put information by itlisebo mo TV. So today we are happy to say, take out your phone. Le rona baba advanced, baba reaching yana, baba phone yana tedi serious. That's not me. You know, you see, I can't even use it. Nakeba Android. But if you are using an iPhone, you just Google zamapillowtv.com. Then you go straight there. It will offer an option it will offer an option iPhone. Then you just click there, then you are connected. So your iPhone, you can watch it. Your Android, you can watch it. Your tablet, you can watch it. On your laptop, you can watch it. On your PC, you can watch it. So it's there, eating. So what we'll need, let's have content, rates in your mole. When the MEC is doing budget speech, you can watch it. The TV is there. So, how do we work a partnership, government and private sectors? This is what we talk about. For the government, yes, we are in the media space, but let's assist you to assist our communities to be more informed better. That's our role. Because sometimes, you know, guys, you'll agree with me, how it's you see government officials by ML Labatama. Thinking, hey, it's any journalistic restaurant. Nando's on a Sunday. So at least we must break that barrier and say, when you see me, you see a strategic partner. You don't see an enemy. You don't see a journalist who must just take your kids and say, hey, you don't have to do that. So, colleagues, in short, I'm happy the health department, through Mr. Lekatwane, Lebo MEC, Bo Dr. Mbengeza, and Bo Wayne, so many other officials, we've been knocking. It's not a thing, we've been knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking. And people will tell you, online, and until we say, guys, we can't be Gauteng in the Northwest. We start here. Let's digitalize our industry. So, our team. The team is very young people. I will start with Tsepiso, Siko. These are young guys. Ketlataleka Onalena Ramurumula. I can tell you, I'll start with these two guys here, or these guys are the brains behind the app. Last time when I wanted to do an app, I was looking for a quotation, go India. Can't you know, this guy fella from Muruling, and the other guy from Maile can do this, from Rustenburg and Muruling, can do this, an app. Now I was looking for quotation, go India, for such an app. So these are genius brains behind the app. We still have people by Longkore, they do the running around. She's based here, Mo Mafiking, while now we are in Bojanala. Whatever we want, Mo Mafiking, we via her. We cannot
on their phones. Then comes the challenge of making sure that we have healthy lifestyle material there and all educational information on it. Thank you very much, Ntaten Ndlovu and the team. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to call the MEC to come and address you, ladies and gentlemen of the media. The keynote address indeed.
Is a TV phone in, eh? I think that we must give them a round of applause. Because I was telling them that I did not trust what they were telling me. And I said I will only accept when I see that this is possible. So it means now I'm on TV. Now, let me tell you, one fellow that I always deduce communication from, he was not part of a friendly institution. He was a communications minister of Hitler, Goebbels. Goebbels was the communications minister of Hitler. Now, Goebbels used to say you must tell a big lie. And when there's no truth coming the way of the big lie, the lie shall sustain a status of being truth itself. And that's what government communicators must adopt on communication. Because quite often, we are not communicating, but we are responding to what we are asked. And therefore confined to give information only on what you are asked by someone who is communicating on your behalf. One element that you must do, is to audit communication tools of communicators of the Department of Health. That's what you must do. I went to Rustenburg sometime, and I learned that the communications person of Rustenburg sub-district, the biggest, had no airtime. Had no airtime. That's a communication person, what Department of Health, in Rustenburg sub-district, the biggest. How on earth would you expect a person to be an active communicator? Yet you can't even give that person airtime. Just airtime. Those people who don't have airtime yet, their communications office, are not going to be able to download. You need data to download. They are going to be doing, please call me to an app. And that's one element that we must close. Because I have a problem with some of them as to whether they are communicators or they are contesting the department in communication offices. And that would be the last one. When you have empowered them, then you expect delivery. That each communicator must not sleep because you have given them proper communication tools. One of the challenges we're having in the Department of Health is that there's leaking coming from us to the public. There's more asked to us by the public. And even the level of response, you have Lekhetwane or you have the MEC. We've now assumed the status of being communicating on behalf of facilities. Each time facilities communicate, their starting point is defensive. First thing they do, communicators, is to defend managers who deserves no defense, but telling truth about what you are asked of. If a particular manager has erred, you must accept that, but this is a responsibility of manager so and so. It should have not been handled in this fashion. Okay? So communication is quite critical, communicators of Department of Health. But journalists in a democratic system should never be enemies of communicators. This argument that journalists get brown envelopes, it's not a good argument. It's almost like the argument that people usually say. They say the ANC is corrupt, yet they know the ANC is not corrupt, and it will never be corrupt. But that you have individuals who use the name of the ANC for corrupt tendencies that they are beneficiaries of, and the ANC is not a beneficiary on. It's almost like journalists. Not all journalists are brown envelope journalists. There's still a credible number of journalists who in actual fact to write a story without expecting to be bought on the story. But the issue is, give a correct story. And don't represent groupings. Don't represent groupings. Don't become an extension of my competitor. And each time you're asking a question, you're asking a question on behalf of the competitor. I could even gauge them. This one was given to this fellow yesterday because we differed, I know. And I always know who is asking the question. That's what we must do. Thank you very much, Ndadeli Khetwan, your communication team, including these young fellows. In fact, this is a second group from Northwest. There's one group that keeps on coming to my office with paperless system. It's led by a young fellow from Tlhagameng who's doing his honors here in the Northwest University. And I've always been saying that sometimes we blame our people for migration to Gauteng. Yet in most instances, it's forced migration because they don't get access to developmental support in their province. Not in this argument of people thinking that you must close a province. South Africa is a unitary state that has 9 provinces. 9 provinces. As we develop internal capacity, we are free for excellencies from outside. But we can't transport that which we have internally from elsewhere. We must do best of what we have so that it's properly marketed outside and then keep on adding that which we don't have. Dumelang bagaetsho. Let me start now. Okay, that was on the app. Then I'm going to raise 9 issues. And my only problem is because I'm paid to speak. That's why I don't run away from an interview. I prefer interviewed than being misquoted. I prefer a person to come to me and say, what are you saying on this? I will say it without running away. Than people who are told, no, this is what he said and this is what it meant. And then you write because you are told. Mafike Mail knows me. You know me. At one time when I was in Public Works, I told them, look, your questions appear to be too identical that you are giving me to answer. I'm giving you an option. Publicize them. If you are wrong, I will contest you. But if you are right, I will not reply. That's what I said to them. Because they had questions that were arising on a meeting I had with someone that I was reporting to at the time, and we were 2 in the room. All of a sudden, I'm now followed by questions. Did you know? No. Let me not address that person through you. Because you have questions, they are similar to a discussion I remember. What you must do, publicize them. If you are wrong, I will contest you. If you are right, I'll agree. They publicized. I did not contest them because I agreed. They were quoting verbatim that which we were discussing in a secret place, 2 of us. So that's the only component that I use when I see that what you are asking, you are told, ask him this and this. I don't reply because I don't want to contest a deliberation I would have had with an individual through a journalist who is now prepared with questions on something I know. It would have never been possible that that person must know. I don't run away. But there are times where I tell you, if you believe that what you are saying is correct, write it. And I don't become angry. They write and I say, but the facts here. Now, Bobzol, they see that the facts here. Then I keep quiet, but they are right. And my contest, I go, but right. It means they have a proper source. But I know that that source is me and him who knows. The source told them. Thank you very much. Okay. The next issue that I think that we must do, because this thing, app TV, we must first ensure that internally in the Department of Health, it's properly used. Internally in the Department of Health, it's properly used. We have 22,000 employees, 22,000. We pay them proper, except community health workers, that level. But we pay them proper, these ones that we employ proper, we employ permanently. I can tell you, 99% of them have a smartphone. 99% of them have a smartphone. It can be difficult that they can download, starting with communication officers and ensuring that each communication officer of a facility knows how many people in that facility have an access to an app. Communication officers are almost like labor relations officers. A labor relations officer has a right to say to a CEO, what you are doing is wrong and unprocedural. Because a labor relations officer is not an extension of a CEO. It's a person that employees themselves have a right to go to when they're frustrated. It's like a communication officer. A communication officer must be able to say your decision is going to give me a very difficult corner of communication. And then say to the CEO, what do you expect me to tell the public about implications of your decision? What do you expect me to tell the public? Because of that absence, Lekhetwan, of probing, we only rely on questions supplied to us. Because you have a communication officer who knows that in my Hikeng Provincial Hospital, here, in a particular day, there would have been an incident where a baby lost a life because of what would have happened in the system of cooling and giving more warmth in that baby. But the hospital communications unit keeps quiet and does not tell the public that it's unfortunate on this day where this incident. Now, journalists who are here, Makubu, when they get it, they make it a new revelation. If they get it today, they make it new. It appears like it's something that has happened today. Yet when you know, it's 10 days ago. But when they address it, journalists, is this revelation that everybody must be interested on this hospital that is failing people? Yet it should have been that when everything has been internally certified, the Lekhetwana must not be issuing a statement. A communications person of a hospital must be issuing a statement. So in most instances, we can run away from media, but we are running away purely because of our weaknesses. If we were proactive in communication, in fact, you are going to be co-opted to be our communicators yourselves. Well, you are going to write what we are saying, confined exactly to what we are saying and how we say it. That's what happens when you have proactively communicated. But if you wait for a discovery, you are going to even be forced to accept things that you know they are not possible. Like how they approach the issue of shortage of medication. Journalist fellows here. They say, MEC, your facilities, there's no medication in your facilities. They don't say, in Munsiwa Start Clinic, between 10 and 2 today, there was no Panado available. Because they are not meant to market the department. They're selling news. Then what is going to sell is that there's no medication in all facilities. And yet we know it's not true. It's not true. There is a shortage of certain kinds of medication. Not all. And in certain facilities, not in all facilities in Mahikeng at a same time. Which means there's an issue of supply, there's an issue of management. Now, I've started with what Likhetwane said I must do. There's an issue of supply and an issue of management. Supply, we may be having a shortage because we're in short of supply. Management, we may have a shortage because a manager who is in Lonely Park did not scan. There's one thing that you can also download in the National Department of Health. Medicine availability, stock availability management in the National Department of Health is there, the app. But you don't have access until you are given, like us. Each one of us has an access. You are able to click and go to Northwest. In that app, you are able to go to all clinics in Northwest. When the availability is 85 and above, it is green in that facility. And it gives you in each type of medicine. Now, when it is red, check it. Immediately 75. 75, you would think that it's enough. Once it's 75, it appears red. The indication is that someone managing the facility must now begin to order, because it means in the next 10 days, you are going to run short of that type of medication. Facility managers, all of them, they phone Vodacom to swipe stock. So when you sell Panado, you swipe it, it records. In the system, it updates. Then when I go and check in your clinic today, I know in the next 3 days, you are going to run short of betaquilin. So it means patients but TB who may be coming to your facility are going to find you with a shortage. The next thing you should be doing as a manager, this management element, is to then know what is availability in the facility next to you. Because this is money, this is medication paid for Northwest citizens. Even if it was to be in KK, we can send a car from here to go pick up in KK, bring it here, because tomorrow we'll close that. Now, facility managers do not communicate, because the facility manager must know the next 12 kilometers, there's a clinic, it has enough. The only thing you do, you don't send people back. You say, sit here, Then you organize planned patient transport. You take this person to that facility 12 kilometers away, the person gets access to medication. You bring the person back to the clinic, then the person goes home. And this can't be an issue done by an MEC. This is where I'm saying there's an issue here, management. Because when we do a roundup and check, even today, I asked managers, there's no chief director who tells me, all 4 of them, I asked them, tell me which clinic does not have medication in your district. My principal argument, I will close it. There won't be a clinic allowed to operate without medication. They don't know. The element is the system is not properly used. But also that issue of shortage. Remember, there was a time where we had to intervene in the medical store here. Suspended 4 managers. My first weeks as MEC. Suspended 4 managers. They are going through a DC. One of the problems, which is a reality now, is that for almost 3 years, they've not been doing reconciliation. Now, you have a supplier that we owe 20 million because in the past 3 years, we've not been paying that person properly. We have a shortage of what he or she supplies. And the supply of the month would be 2 million. We say to this fellow, we need this drug and we have 2 million. The person says, no, you know you owe me previously 20 million. So pay what you owe previously. I will supply. Then the issue is, instead of us paying this person 2 million worth of stock we need, we are now forced to find extra 18 million to pay this person. When we pay him, he's clean on what we were owing him. But then we owe him now 2 million because we had to mobilize 18 million plus 2 million to make 20 million to pay this person, who is now bargaining with power because communities don't have medication. Otherwise, he's going to tell them. Then we're forced to find money. And that element too is an issue of management. That's what we have. And then there's the second issue that I think that it's of interest, and the Premier spoke about this thing. It's about Mafikeng Provincial Hospital. Mafikeng Provincial Hospital. And that's a hospital in a provincial capital. It's a hospital in a provincial capital. What it means is that it should be a functional hospital. It should be a functional hospital and a better hospital in actual fact. Because almost 90 people of us are based here. And if you check in terms of departments based here, an area that is highly medical aid dominant, it's Mafikeng. But even for private sector, you access it more outside Mafikeng than in Mafikeng. It can't be God given. It's not God who said that Mafikeng is not going to have a proper provincial hospital. And for some times it was without CEOs. And it's a fault of the department to appoint a CEO. For some time it's not been having CEOs. Most managers acting. But that can be our response to the people on the need to improve the service. And the Premier says, no, I've appointed a special team, which is true.
when you ask questions, it says questions and comments and responsibility journalists. I know there are communicators here. It means we have excluded you from asking questions.
Yeah, in general.
I know MEC that we have been,
You can't ask the MEC.
they've been harassing me, they want to see you, but we'll have to.
No, they must ask, they have asking. Yeah?
We'll have another arrangement for that.
Okay.
Separate to bring all communicators together. This time it's for the journalists.
Yes, if you're not a journalist, keep quiet.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the floor is yours. May I note the questions, please, the hands, so that we take up your questions. The MEC is very generous. It didn't go into detail in terms of the success, amazing success rate that we have since it took over, because it doesn't want to float. Questions? Noted. 2, 3. Just remember your number. 3. You are 3. Can we start with those 3? I know journalists like to be provoked.
Obviously, you alluded the infrastructure issue. There is a hospital in Madibe, Moretile municipality, which has been standing there, Matiwestad, which has been completed. It's been standing there, non-functioning for almost 2 years. Could you comment on that, please?
Thank you. Let me see. My question to you is the houses inside Tusong and Gelexpan. And then what are your plans in regard to those houses? Thanks.
Good evening. I'm also from African News Agency. MEC, globally there's a crisis, coronavirus. How are we prepared in the Northwest? Do we have facilities? Should it happen to us? Should we experience an outbreak? Where in Northwest should we go? Thank you.
Any more questions?
Days Riba from Platinum Northwest TV. MEC, last time when we had an interview at the provincial legislature, you spoke about a team that is out there running an awareness about coronavirus that is already on the field. Now, my question is, when are we going to see that team, especially in the municipality of Matlosana, locally in townships like Kuma, in townships like Kanana, and other townships that are surrounded by Klerksdorp, Tsepong Hospital?
All right. I'm going to give to the MEC to respond if there are no more questions.
That's good. It means they were clapping hands properly. They are covered. Matibestad. There's Ndade Kids infrastructure. It's going to stand between now and some time because I've issued a new directive that if you check Moretile as a municipal area, there's no hospital service. And that community health center would not be a hospital. Everybody there for hospital services goes to Tshwane, city of Tshwane in Gauteng. Now my new instruction to them is that they must add, because for it to become a district hospital, it needs extra 16 beds, 16. So I said, part of their finishing plan must include space for 16 extra beds, so that when finished, it becomes a district hospital, not a community health center. Then we do at least away with referring everybody for hospital services to the city of Tshwane, to Gauteng. That's a new addition that I've said they must do. But in terms of finishing it, yes, indeed, they have plans to finish it. But their plans now must be adjusted to include this requirement of extra 16 bed space, so that when launched, it becomes a district hospital. And that is going to reduce pressure in Gauteng and reduce pressure of our people visiting their patients to travel in between. That's the plan on Matibe Start. Our plan is that wherever we have a border with another province, we must have proper services, so that we don't have our people using what they see in the other side of the border, of the boundary. And then they say it's better to be that side than to be this side because we are not serviced properly. That's the issue on Matibe Start. Same again here, there's an investigation on the issue of recruitment, an accusation of people being recruited wrongly. Houses inside Tusong, I like that. I like that. You know, even myself, previously when I passed Tusong, I would ask, but why are these houses empty? Until I became an MEC of health, this is the problem of communication. That in reality, there's a plan to scale down Tusong and finally close it because of the challenges you have there, including the fact that the houses cannot be renovated because of the status of the land they are at. But nobody has ever told people of Northwest that. They must only get it as an answer when they are asking about what are you doing about these houses. Sometimes public works would be accused because yes, of course, it's public works houses. But fact of the matter is that though they are public works, there's nothing that can be done on them. But ask me, if there's nothing that can be done on them, why do we allow the houses to display like there's something we're going to do with them and do not take them down properly? So that community knows they are down. It's because we can't rehabilitate them because of the land and the status where they are. And also because of this pending scaling down of Tusong. It's something that I've called management to present next week, so that we don't keep management of Tusong not sure. When there's a crack, they make a requisition to renovate. They are told, in any case, we are going to scale you down. As to when, there's no plan. This is where the problem is. They keep being told, we scale you down, finally we'll close you. But there's no plan that says by this time, we will finally have no Tusong in that instance. And that's what I'm trying to work on. And already I get a sense that with people of Ituseng and people of the Northwest, there's a historic acceptance of Tusong as a complex, especially the side of Tusong, because if you check the history and how about Dr. Sifularo came in the field, they had started in Tusong. Now, even if you were to scale down and close, you need to have some houses there to renovate to a status to keep the history of the area alive, especially on the delivery of health service. The only ones that there's an issue on, some of them donated to the school and some of them revamped, it's Gelexpan, because there's no decision to scale down and do away with Gelexpan. Even that element of doing away with Tusong, we're balancing it. Because remember, National Department had originally given us an indication that they would avail a budget for us to build afresh a new hospital in Lichtenberg. And we've been arguing that it is closer to that time that Gelexpan must be scaled down. When you have an improved, better hospital in Lichtenberg, and then you function on the basis of the community health center in Itusen, and then the bigger hospital improved in Gelexpan. Babana, I'm putting things I did not say in the back door as if I'm answering the question. Northwest preparedness, okay? Like I said, it's border preparedness. This is where there's a weakness. It's only border preparedness. Because there are so many other person alone. And this is where Klerksdorp Tsepong comes in. It's gazetted as but part of the national response strategy that in Northwest we will use Klerksdorp Tsepong as an area to treat and an area to then deal with those that are affected. There's an element called self-exclusion. You decide on your own that for 14 days, I don't want contact with any people because I'm from outside the country. I might have had it. But remember, there's this element, the time it's going to show might not be the time you are screened. Screened today, 3 days you are sick. When you go hard, you have coronavirus. That 14 days is critical for that. The element, Buddhi, that you are correct on, it's like you were in the meeting I was at. I was saying the gap is awareness directly to communities. So in this instance, you must stop having a problem of Klerksdorp communities. It's communities of Northwest and communities of South Africa. And also on this new revelation, I'm saying, now it's becoming too complicated that a country that has no interaction with China gets it internally, which means then that awareness of yours, it's critical. That's what I said. They must go and plan for awareness for internal response. How must we handle ourselves in our houses? How must we handle ourselves in the community to ensure that there's no possibility of having it coming out of a natural disease that we have and not got it from transportation in terms of people who are coming from outside. That's the element they need, and I told them today, that one must be at least strengthened, because currently it's screening, testing, and training officials who are either going to deal with these people in facilities or are going to deal with communities. This element of telling communities of what to do to avoid this element, it's not that well done, which it's a weakness on our part. But we are going to focus on that in the next coming weeks. Thank you very much.
I thought that was comprehensive and deserving of a hand. Any more questions? Bobby Sola, are you fine? You are covered.
Ke a leboga Mokhuduthamaga. Ke utlwile o tlhagisa ntlha ya gore ko Mafikeng Provincial Hospital le thapile acting CEO. Since le inception ya gage go fitlhelela nou yana, as department o ka re situation the situation ya service delivery ko bophelong e botoka, and le expectile leng gore le thape the permanent CEO ko Mafikeng Provincial Hospital. Ke a leboga.
Okay. Clearly, only two questions. Ne? One question is actually related to Tsoying sub-district. I heard you talking about investigations go Tsoying. We had some complaint some few months back about a dragon white lady go sub-district who's running the hospital and firing everyone as he wishes. I hope, and I wonder if on that investigations, did the name of that lady appears on that? Sabubedi ki issue ya, I forgot which. I forgot the second question. Okay,
If you forget, it's not important.
The other one was issue of MEC. When you come in, when we were announced as MEC of health, there was impression that you are coming in as a cleaning broom on that department. So I just wanted to find out, you're talking about suspension and so on, but what does the investigation say, and when can we see prosecutions taking place?
I'm hoping that those were the last questions.
Okay. No, in fact, I had not said I'm a broom that will sweep clean. The only thing that I said to people, and I still maintain, my intention is to prove that a non-medical person can be a successful MEC in a health department. That's my only aim. If I prove that, it would then open non-medical people for future deployment as health MECs. Because the dominant approach has been that when you need an MEC for health, you need someone who has a health background. And yet you don't need a manager, you need a strategic director. When the vacant posts, when we need a doctor, I advertise for a position of a doctor, medical doctor. Employ that person. The person must be responsible for professional responsibility as appointed. But I must tell them, all of them, including doctors, that we are not dealing with something that we must not get care of. That's what must be a change. That element, when I'm not MEC, ask me, how have you done? In the actual fact, in this instance. I have done things that doctors have never done. Because now when I go to a hospital, I don't become an extra doctor from the ones that are employed by a hospital. I looked what is the problem in the hospital and tell them how that problem must be solved, including telling doctors how to react and treat patients. But I don't prescribe for them. They went to school for prescription. I'm paying them to prescribe. That's what we're doing. And the issue that I'm dealing with here, you may underestimate it. Sometimes people don't know that I say this thing quite consistently. That one of the challenges health has, nobody's going to tell you, is the level at which it's functionalized. You're not going to be told that. It's a level at which it is functionalized. You get people not acting on behalf of a department, but leaking information to destroy the same department they are employed on at. What do you do in that instance? You must create a situation where all workers first are free to speak without suspecting that they are going to be judged. For instance, I had a call from Bupilo. This worker says to me, first, I want to understand whether you are with them or you are with us. This is the worker who wants to be helped. He says to me, I want to understand first whether you are with them or you are with us. Then I said to this worker, you have an option, you have two options. The first one, conclude as to who am I with, and then decide not to speak with me. Or tell me what is the problem and then let me act based on your problem. And I said, I refuse to tell you whether I'm with them because I don't know who's us and them. This worker says, I'm afraid, the reason MEC is not that I'm suspecting you. It's because we are now internally afraid to speak. Because when you speak, you may then face consequences of what you are saying. And this is the element that I must get it. For instance, I sometimes get a person from a unit when I'm there in the office. That's why I told them that I don't want to sit too much in the provincial office. Because there are too much of people who have complaints, some of them very legitimate. And I'm compelled to listen to them without their managers. They're giving anecdotes secretly. MEC, I want to see you, and say, come. The person comes and tells me his or her frustration of a unit. I want to then act on the basis of not judging anyone that the department has, but taking each one of them on the basis of what the individual has a frustration on. Consistency then is what I'm saying. I'm saying to you, we have dealt with Likalakala. I know because I was the chairperson of the portfolio committee. I was in the meeting that went the whole night as a chair. That the Mediosa 30 million payment was signed by people internally before being processed with instruction of Likalakala. And I knew that these people had no authority to sign above 10 million on their delegation. Yet they signed for 30 million. And then I tell them, Likalakala is gone. Where are the people who signed? And that's consistency. I don't want to be selective. The least you can do in an HR or labor relations process, it's allowing yourself to be easily accused of selective prosecution of employees. There you must stay very clear that it can't be selective. So that's why I was saying, even yesterday I told them that I want an audit of all the forensic investigations, all of them. And I said, give me names of people who were indicated in those forensic investigations. It's because I don't want to focus on Likalakala. There are worse ones who had done crimes more than 30 million ya Likalakala. But because we're not focusing in all forensic investigation, they then get scot-free. That's what I'm not doing. So I'm not moving around a better MEC. In fact, the ANC that deploys us must ensure that there's a coverage of this assumption that you can have ANC deployees differing on policy perspectives. We must differ on emphasis on implementation and don't differ on policy options, because it's one organization that deploys us, it's one manifesto. Like when you could see, it's easy these days that a new minister would not do what the previous one was doing. Or a new MEC would simply ditch everything the previous one was doing, yet were deployed by the same organization. That's why we must find a way that it's only on emphasis of implementation there and there, but nobody must ever dream of being a successful individual, yet deployed in a collective. Health will not be changed by me. It will not be changed by only an MEC. It has to be changed by changing everybody who is that institution, including changing people whilst they are there. Here's proof. Communications unit, Lekhetwane, has changed. None of them have been removed. There they are. Never. They were in the same communications unit a year ago before I became an MEC. But they've easily adjusted to the priorities of the MEC without them being changed in their positions. And this is what we must do, so that the success is more in an establishment than a success in a person. The next person who becomes an MEC of health must find health communication ready. So the next CEO of the Mafikeng Provincial Hospital must find the communication person in Mafikeng ready to communicate successes and challenges of the hospital. Not only when it's somebody. We must never have policies that are personal friendly. We must have policies that are stability defined and easily adjustable, irrespective of the person who's going to become an MEC. So in sub-district, South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white, says Freedom Charter. The first organization, political party in South Africa to be non-racial was the Communist Party of South Africa. I'm a secretary of a Communist Party. The ANC is a non-racial, non-sexist democratic movement. I don't see people on the basis of their color. I least focus on color because sometimes it can be used for mischief. People say, no, there's a white manager. In reality, the sub-district manager of Tswaing is white. It's a white female. That's real. And in fact, if you don't know, that's the person who originally was number one on to be appointment to be the CEO of Mafikeng Provincial Hospital. The only problem, she wanted us to allow her to run the hospital from Dilareyville, which we said it's not possible. She did not want to leave Dilareyville and come to Mafikeng. And we said, we're not going to budge. We're appointing a CEO for Mafikeng Provincial Hospital. That CEO can run the hospital outside Mahikeng. The complaints, yes, we have some of those complaints you're talking about. Elements of people being dismissed, some being victimized. Yes, we have them. The investigation, though, was not dealing with the manager. It was dealing with the recruitment process. The issues pertaining to the manager, we will deal them separate from any other issue. The acting CEO in Mafikeng Provincial Hospital, yes, we have, is Dr. Bele, the former clinical manager of Zirast, Elihurutsi Complex, is the acting CEO. But last week we advertised a position of the CEO. So if you qualify, please apply. Calling on you, if you qualify, please apply for the position of the CEO of Mahikeng Provincial Hospital. The reason you need a CEO, Mahikeng Provincial Hospital must not be run outside in the province. It must be run like any other hospital by a CEO and former management. Changes, Mahikeng Hospital, Provincial Hospital has some challenges, but in most instances there are improvements. I can tell you, the time I had visited mortuary in the same hospital was bad. Things I said they must be changed, they were changed, most of them. At that time, you could not even stand inside the mortuary for more than 2 minutes because of the smell at that time. That has been changed, but you also need to revamp the whole system, clinical pathology, because the challenge across the board. And some of improvements are there, but we still need to focus there. You must also help us understand what are the challenges. Some of you are very good in something called investigative journalism. Those who have that skill must help us unravel what are the problems, simple, attached to the hospital. So the sub-district manager is not a white person. He has a name. And unfortunately, her race, she's white. We don't deal with her on grounds of being white, because that could easily be used by either people who are not happy with her or herself claiming to be a victim because she's white. That has nothing to do with race. It has all to do with the responsibility of a person appointed and paid for a post he or she occupies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MEC. Ms. Motlalipula Lekoma is standing between you and dinner. Can you step forward, ma'am, for last but not least item? And maybe just before you take over, let me just thank Rekitso Mulawa, some of the executive managers here. Rekitso Mulawa, Re Obake Mongale, and Remolusiwa Sitiso. Thank you very much for honoring this occasion, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Rele Khetwane, the presiding officer of this program. And I think that the protocol has already been established. But I think it's important for me to mention that it's very difficult to speak after the MEC have spoken. He is very articulative, and I think it's important for us to mention that apart from him being the member of the Executive Council of the 6th Administration, he is also the Provincial Secretary of the South African Communist Party and also serving in the Central Committee of the South African Communist Party under the leadership of Ndati Blade Nzimande. I feel very privileged tonight to be standing before a group of revolutionaries who have managed to come up with the innovation of making sure that collectively as a team of public and private communicators and media personalities, we gather together to improve our communication strategy as the province. We're not doing this for ourselves, we're not doing this to popularize ourselves, but I believe that we are doing this for the betterment of the lives of the South Africans, and particularly the people of Bokone Bophirima. And I think it's important for me to also to mention that this night is one of the transformatory processes that we came about as communicators in this province, where we identify the importance of having a developmental communication strategy. Because it's important for us to use communication to transform the society from a state of poverty to a dynamic socio-economic growth. So it's our own responsibility also to make sure that we redress inequalities and broaden access. So the GCIS, when it's reporting at the end of each financial year, sometimes they will have an analysis as to how do the society receive information. But we must remember that we are actually the machinery, the South African machinery of making sure that our people do have access to information. So we are not the public sector and external communicators. We are actually not enemies. We need to have a strategy of making sure that our people do have confidence in this government. So we also have to make sure that we strengthen our relations and when we communicate or when we want to understand something, we don't wait until emotions are high, but we can call one another to a restaurant and have a cup of tea whilst you are asking me questions and then responding, because I know that it's not at our interest as individuals, but we're doing it for the betterment of the lives of South Africans. Thank you very much for the innovation. And I think it's important to caution this forum not to be tempted to use this initiative to exploit our people. But we must use this platform to make sure that we strengthen relations, and also to make sure that we make Bokone Bophirima a nice place to live in. So nekere ka mafoko a makalo ba gaetsho re lebogile thata re le lefapha la maphelo gate ka Setswana morotoesi ga o elele ibile Motswana a re metla khola ya gabo metla khola o e betla a lebisitse gabo. So jaaka ha re le kopane yana re kopanetse gore re tle re kgone go dira gore khotla ya rona ya Bokone Bophirima e nne khotla e eletsegang e nang le madulo e seng e batho ba tshabang go dula mo gone ka lebaka la gore ba sa itse gore go diragalang ibile ba sa itse gore bokamoso jwa bone bo tla nna jang. So ka mafoko a makalo ne ke re ra leboga Team Health, ra leboga our external communicators, ra leboga the media houses for making this night a success. And thank you very much the political head of this department, Ntate Madoda Sambata, for creating this opportunity, and the administrator in absentia for making it possible for us to be here today. Ra leboga.
Lekhofi. Yeah, you see, I didn't have to say Lekhofi. You just knew you had to clap hands. Thank you very much, Mem Tlalipula. Yamoroto MEC Rafala, we need each other. That's all it says. Yeah. But I also like Yahori, let's strengthen relationships. As we proceed to have dinner, let's strengthen relationships and mingle. I'm sure make to strengthen the relationship. Thank you very much. Dinner is served.